2673. What the hell am I talking about? Let me explain. The Boss RC-600 has 9 buttons. When you get the looper out the box and start playing with it, you'll realize from the manual and from the parameter guide and all this jazz that what's on the tin, and I'm pointing at it because it's just down there, what's written on the box is what is default. You've got things like undo, redo, track select, you've got start, stop, things like that. Now straight away, if you play around with mode 1, 2, and 3, you've gone from 9 buttons to 27 buttons, 3 times 9. And what you can do is you can start playing around with changing what those buttons do. First of all, you can have things in multi-mode or single mode, and you don't have to have the buttons set out the way it's printed on the actual board. Boss called this the next generation looper, and the reason I think they're right about this is because it's the first looper that I've had where you can completely customize every single button. There's been loopers out there before that you can customize a couple of different buttons, or you can change a button to do 1 or 2 things. But apart from the Boss RC-500, which was kind of like a taster for the 600, no other loopers come close when it comes to customization. So where am I getting 2673 from? Now the 9 buttons and the mode 1, 2, and 3 are known as function buttons, and by default it's set for per system, which means if you change a button, it's going to be changed on every memory that you've got. However, you can change it for per memory. What that means is that if you change a button on memory number 1, it'll be different on memory number 2 and different again on memory number 3, etc, etc, etc. So now what you've got is 9 buttons with 3 modes, which is 27 buttons, and you've got 99 memories. So 27 times 99 is 2673 buttons. This is not including 16 assigns, 4 switchable buttons, which you could use FS6 or FS7 pedals for, or expression pedals, or MIDI. And people are very quickly starting to realize how customizable this thing is. So long intro aside, today I'm going to show you how we can customize the buttons. I'm going to show you how you can change them from the whole system or per memory. I'm going to show you 3 different setups that I've got on my pedal board. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share something that you can keep, which will help you with your pedal board planning. Right, let me show you what I'm doing. So before I show you the 3 different setups I've got with the RC-600, the first thing you're going to have to decide is whether the button changes you make are for the whole system or per memory. Personally, I have it per memory, so with each memory comes a different set of buttons. By default, it's per system, so if you make a change to the buttons, it will change across the 99 memories. But I'm going to show you where the settings are in case you want to change it to per memory. So on the RC-600, go to Menu, click across one, and you'll see Control Function. Give this a click, and this is where we're going to be changing the buttons. However, before you do that, go across one again, and you'll see Preference. When you press this, this is where you decide for all the button presses if they're memory or system, but not just the 9 switches. You've got modes 1, 2, and 3, and as you can see there, mine are set to memory. You've got an all clear, which you can turn on. If you go across one page, you'll see controls 1 to 4. Now I've got them per system, so it doesn't matter which memory I use, they're the same across the board. And one final one going across is the same for expression 1 and expression 2. This is where you'll need to ignore what's written on the tin for some of it, and we're going to go through the 3 different setups I've done just to give you an example of different things you can do with this LoopStation. Starting with one that's actually quite similar to what it says on the tin, and this is what I call 001. This is the memory I predominantly use at a gig. I use this for a complete blank track, but I've got it set up in a way where I can access things pretty quickly. So let me show you how we change this. So if we go to Menu, we go across one, and you go to Control Function, you'll see now pedal mode 1, 2, and 3. And this is where you change them. So just for example, let's look at mode 1, button 1, which is this one here, which is record play. And it is actually that, it's record play. So we're going to go to mode 1, and you can see there it says pedal 1, which is this one. And then if I go into that, it says track 1, record play number 2. There's actually a couple of different versions of this. You can even have it as a 1 pedal looper where you double top it to stop it. But for now, it's record play, and then hold down is undo. So you've got push, which is clicking the button. You've got hold, which is hold down for 2 seconds. And it says click here, and what that means is double click. It means actually double tapping the button. Now you'll see here it says function, and there's a dial. And if you start scrolling that dial, it doesn't look like it's moving, but there's lots it's doing here. And you can see this is changing depending on what I'm selecting. So I've got, for example, mark clear and it's gone red. And you can see this is starting to change. A pro tip for you, if you want to get to something really quickly, hold this down and change it, and you can see it speeds across really, really quickly across all the different categories. But for now, I'm going to put it back where I need it, which is record play 2. Pedal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pedal 7. So pedal 7, let's have a look at that. Now pedal 7, and I did this in a short video, by default is down as pedal mode. It's push mode 1, 2 with arrows kind of either side to go between 1 and 2. And then hold will get you mode number 3. What I've decided to do is go across one to pedal mode increase, which is increment, increase, whichever way you want to call it. And then all you've got to do is just click it and it'll go mode 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just go across like that. For me, I feel that's quicker, and also I don't want to hold down to get to effects. I want to be able to get to effects very, very quickly. Now I've done that on mode 1, pedal 7. I'll also have to do this on mode 2, pedal 7, and mode 3, pedal 7 for it to be consistent. The next one was pedal 8. That is the effect. So if I go into pedal 8 now, you can see that is now as input effect B, and I can prove that to you. So if we go across back over to the loop itself, let's go across and we've got inputs there. And if I press this, you'll see this will switch on, and there it is. And then, of course, the light goes purple. It doesn't really show up as purple on the top-down camera, but that is purple, that is white. And then if I turn that off, it'll go off there as well. Now, to do this, all you need to do is obviously make sure you know which one's which for your effects, whether it's track effects, input effects, whatever you need, which bank you're on as well. And then what you can do is you can press it there. Now, a quick caveat with that regarding the banks of effects. I'm currently on bank A. If I had a button to change it up to bank B and press that, it would be bank B, pedal 2. So it would be the second pedal on bank B for effects, for the input effects. You have to remember this in your head. It's like a little bit like a road map. That is the second effect, whichever bank you're on. Now I can program that up a different way for it to be very specific that it's only the guitar to bass on bank A, pedal 2, as it were, but you can change that, and that's also using some signs as well. For now, it's just effect number 2, switch on and off. Now mode number 2 on pedal 8 is different. So let's go over to pedal mode 2, and we go across to 8 again, which is here, and you can see that just says rhythm start stop. And now if we go over to there, which red is mode 2, then what we need to do is just press that and it'll start the rhythm, and then I can stop it, and as it's stopped, it picks up the tempo and just shows me what it is, just so I can keep in time. When we go out one and we go out one again, we're on mode number 3. These 3 are the same. This input effects A, B, and C, but this one, which is the 4th pedal along, is input D. And then we go to pedal number 4, and there it is, input D. Now visually for me, I prefer things to be sort of top down. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for this. So this is actually 8, 9, 5, 6 in the terms of the pedals, but for me, my brain's going 1, 2, 3, 4 like that because it's kind of going down. So let's go to pedal 8 to have a look at the track effect, which is track effect A. So if we go to mode 3 and we go across one to pedal number 8, then you can see track effect A. Then if we go to pedal 9 and just get out of there and go across one to pedal 9, that should be track effect B, and yes it is. Again, you can change this to be anything you want by going through the huge menu and twisting this and finding what you need. The next track effect, which is track effect C, would be pedal number 5. So we need to go back one, so pedal number 5, there it is, track effect C, and then the final one, it would be pedal number 6. So pedal number 6 is track D. A pro tip for you regarding the effects, you can have all 8 effects on at the same time if you wish to. So I've got all 4 input effects on and all 4 track effects on as well. Now you can change it in the settings, so as you go from one track effect or one input effect to the other one switches off, but it depends on how you want it. Now the difference is when you made your selections and you know how you want it, then you need to write it to the memory. It's actually a per memory thing now for me, so I need to actually click exit and enter together, write it to the memory and make sure it's saved. If I now go to memory number 2 and then go back to memory number 1 again and I haven't done that, I'll lose what I've done. Now I do have an FS7 pedal that I use for memory up and memory down, and I have an expression pedal that I use for the volume of the loops. Now as I said before, they are set to per system, so it doesn't matter which memory I'm on, they're the same, because if I had it to memory up and memory down on memory number 1, but then I didn't have that on memory 2, I wouldn't be able to get up and down. It's got to be per system for memory increase and memory decrease. You might not want that, but it's just dependent on what you want. But I want that so I can go up to a memory and down a memory for every memory, so it's per system. Same for the volume of the loops. The volume of the loops I want to be able to control for doing a couple of different things, like for example dropping the beat or dropping all the loops for a split second or doing fade outs, and I want that to be consistent across all the memories that I have. The second memory I want to show you is one I've called GP single mode. And what this means is that basically instead of actually playing in multi-mode, this actually has a thing where you've got things like verse, chorus, bridge. But I've taken it a step further than that, and on mode number 1, I've actually got it so all 6 loops are on the first mode. So if you remember before, I told you can actually have it as a 1 pedal looper, and you can double tap to stop. So this now, again, ignore what it says on the tin. This is actually loop or track 1. This is loop and track 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is really interesting because now it means on mode number 2, I don't have to use that for looping at all. I could have it as play and stop for each one and it wouldn't record anything, or I could have it as a load of effects, or I could have it as start the rhythm, stop the rhythm. It depends on what you want. But the single mode changes over. So as you go record a verse on this one, for example, and I record a chorus on this one will stop. That's all well and good, but if you've got anything percussive that you've recorded on the verse and then you go into the chorus, that percussive element has gone. Maybe you want to keep it across the board. So what we've done is we've done a mixture really of multi-mode and single mode, because what I've done is on track 1 and track 2, they're still multi. Then on tracks 3, 4, 5, and 6, they are the ones in single mode. That's more than enough for all the different sections that I need in songs. I could have an intro, a verse, chorus, bridge. I could have a verse, chorus, bridge, solo, breakdown, whatever I needed. And I've still got the drums or percussive or rhythm sections here. Additional to that, that's not talking about the rhythm of the actual RC-600. This is literally because I play things like strumming the guitar, doing a bit of beatboxing, so I actually bring them in on these ones. So before I show you how I created this, let me just show you a very quick demo just by using a microphone just to create a couple of rhythms and then bringing you in a verse and a chorus. So let's go to a chorus now. Grab the verse. You'll notice these two are still playing. And I can stop them by double tapping them. So as you can see, you can actually have a mixture of single mode and multi-mode together. You could change where the loops are on the buttons. So this is tracks 1 through to 6. I haven't even changed modes yet. So if I go to mode number 2, what I've actually done is I've repeated that process where I've got tracks 1 to 6, but all they are stop and play. This means that once I've recorded everything, then I can go to the second mode and I can just turn things on and off. I don't have to double tap. I can just turn that on and just as quickly just turn that off with one tap. If I need to record something, I can go back to mode 1 and add something in, or take something away, or delete something, but this is literally just play and stop. Again, from 001, I've copied pedal 8, so that is again the rhythm section. If I need to add it on, a rhythm start stop, and this is start stop all. Then for mode 3, it's the same as I had before, because I want all 8 effects available to me. So input effects A through to D, and track effects A through to D as well. So let's dive into what we changed. We're going menu again, cross 1, control function, and mode number 1. So track 1 is on pedal 1, and you can see now this is record play 4, where it is actually record, play, undo, clear, and stop all on one pedal, and then the click is double tap, so double tap to stop. If we go out of that and go to pedal number 2, This is exactly the same, but for track 2. And again, I've just repeated that process for track 3, 4, 5, and 6. If we go to mode 2 and have a look at pedal 1, then pedal 1 is now play stroke stop 1. There is no record here. So then again, I can just play it and stop it just with one button presses. Again, this is mimicked across the 6 buttons. And again, the same scenario for the previous memory where I've got rhythm start stop and then all start stop here. And then if we go into mode 3, it's all the effects again. So the third mode I want to show you is actually empty, but I've got a plan for it. This is memory number 5, I've not done anything with it yet, and I'm going to show you how I change it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mixture of effects alongside 4 loops. So we're going to mix a version of what we've done in the past 2 memories into this new one. So we go into menu, and we go across one, and we go into control function. Mode 1, pedal 1. What I want this to be is record play 4, so I can stop it on that button as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop looper. So track 1, record play 4 will give me the option to stop if I double tap, and I'm going to exit that. Pedal number 2, I want that to be track 2. Again, a little bit like the JP single mode one that I want to do. I want these two to be like single independent modes. So this one, pedal 2, I'm actually going to change it and go across. I'm just going to scroll across, so that is track 2, play record 4, which gives me the same options as track 1. Next, what I want is I want this one to be track 3, but I want it to be track 3 with the stop. So I'm going to change this to be, instead of number 2, I'm going to be the equivalent of this. So let's go into pedal number 3. And we're going to go to track 3. I'm going to have it exactly the same as it would be over here on pedal number 5. So this one is track 3, record play 2. And then pedal number 4, we're going to go to track 3. The option for that one is stop number 4. So if I stop it, that's fine, but if I hold it down, it will clear it. So to recap, I've got track 1 here, track 2 here, track 3 and stop here. And then what I'm going to do with these two is they're going to be effects. This means I can turn the effects on and off for a specific song that I want. I want to be able to stop this very easily without having to double tap. They're all actually going to be in multi-mode. I don't need to change it from multi to single mode, but I'm going to basically have it so these 3 tracks, a little bit like an RC-300. So I've got tracks 1, 2 and 3, but these two, I don't need to stop as many times. But I do want to stop this one. I'm going to start and stop it as I'm playing from a verse, but then when I go into a chorus, that's not playing, and then I can just bring that back in. But this track that I'm going to play is going to have 2 different effects. The first one it needs is my radio effect, which I've already got set up on the system already. So this will be on pedal number 5. So let's go back one. We're going to go over to pedal number 5, and then I need to hold this down so I can go through the different categories, and eventually you will get to input effects. There we go. So my input effect for the radio is input D on bank A. So I just need to go to input effect D on and off, and you can see now as I turn that on and off, that's working, that's fine. And then the other effect I need is the guitar to bass. Now that's my input effect number 2, and that is going to be on pedal number 6 on the end here. So we can change this, again, hold it down, scroll through the different categories, we get input effects, and we're going to go to input effect B. 1, 2, 1, 2. That works. Now, I've made some changes, and that's how I want them for now. Most importantly, what we need to now do is write this to the memory. So we click exit and enter together. We click write. I'm just going to keep it as memory number 5 right now. I'm not going to change the name. We're going to click write, and that's fine. Enter, and that'll execute that, and that'll save that on memory number 5. So if I change back over to any of my other memories, you can see the pedals here are changing depending on what memory I'm on. So these two have turned off because they're input effects. But if I go over to this one or this one or this one, you can actually see they're different. Now the downside of all of this is if you're doing it per memory, of course, it's a lot more work. However, I've got a nice little trick for you. If you've got pretty much everything the same you want, and you only want to change 1 or 2 things, then what you can do is you can take the memory that you've already saved, write it a second time, but then write it to a different memory slot. For example, this memory right here, which is 001, the one I pretty much use all the time, I want the effects to be the same. I want my buttons on the all start stops to be the same. I want my effects to be the D's there and the 4 there. So what I can do is, instead of doing all that work on modes 2 and 3 for this setup, what I can do is, before I do anything on memory number 5, I can click exit and enter together. I can write it, but this time let's change it over and write this to memory number 5. Now be aware, I would have done this beforehand, and of course now it's going to erase what I did on mode 1. But you would have done this first, so everything's the same as 001, and then you can just make your changes, knowing full well that the rest of the stuff that you've got saved is as you want it. With 99 memories, 9 buttons, and 3 modes, which is 27 buttons per memory, the possibilities on this are endless. So pretty cool, right? This thing has so many things you can do with it. And I haven't even gone into the assigns yet, which you have 16 of them. And again, they can be per memory. Then on top of that, you've got things like the FS5, 6, 7 pedals, expression pedal, and even MIDI capability as well. Now I said at the beginning, I was going to give you something to help you with planning out the pedal board how you want it. So what I've done is I've created a simple PDF, which you can download and keep. I've planned out the 27 buttons and also the 4 control buttons or expression, depending on what you want to do. They're completely blank for you to then write on, and you can obviously duplicate it, copy it, paste it, print it out, whatever you'd prefer. It's just something to help you and help you customize your setup. You might have different setups for different songs, you might have different setups for different memories, depending on whether it's in single mode, multi-mode, a mixture of that, or you might just have lots of things everywhere and you need to figure out where things are. So to get the RC-600 pedal planner, all you need to do is go to my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and on the main page you'll see the option to download the RC-600 pedal planner. Also on my page you can download my pro tips PDF, which is just below the pedal planner. It's a couple of tips just for any looper, no matter which looper you use or any looping that you're doing, and they're pro tips from me to help you get better at looping. And yes, you can buy this t-shirt. Thank you so much for asking. This is the How Do You Loop t-shirt with loops on the back, and the link is just underneath this video. It's on the merch table. Now if you have an RC-600 or you're thinking about getting an RC-600 or switching over to one, then what I would suggest is have a look at this playlist. This is the playlist of the RC-600. This is every video I've done, from videos to live streams to short answers. Give it a click because it's going to really help you. It's just down there underneath if you're watching it on iOS or Mac or blah or Chrome or Safari.